Hello, everyone! Happy Ghostbusters Day. It was 39 years ago today, June 8th, 1984, that Ghostbusters hit the theaters. And every June 8th since then, we've been celebrating this day as Ghostbusters Day. And to help celebrate, I thought I would share some of my favorite items from my Ghostbusters collection. I've chosen 11 of them. They're based on nostalgia. A lot of them are homemade, a lot of them are one of a kind. So I hope you enjoyed these items. The first item that I'm going to start off with here, not that big of a deal to everybody, but it's going to be my Ghostbusters beanie. When I was in high school, I think probably between the years 1997 through 2009, there wasn't a lot of Ghostbusters stuff coming out. There wasn't a lot of merchandise out there, and at around 2002, I got really back into it again, and there wasn't any like Ghostbusters clothing available, so I used to take toques. Then I'd go to our Lexmark printer and I'd print off a Ghostbusters logo, and then I would use Scotch tape and then just tape it. I went through a lot of them because I would wear it in the rain and it would start sogging. All the colors would start to mix up. But when I was about 25 years old, I was gifted this beanie, and it was weird because it felt like you you put so much effort into something earlier in your life, and then you're handed that actual thing later on. I don't know. It was a very weird feeling, but yeah, number 11, I'm gonna go with this here Ghostbusters beanie. For number 10, I'm gonna go with something I've never shown anybody before. In my room, I have a little memories box, and there's this item that's inside of it that if you ever look through that box, you wouldn't know what it means, but it's this logo here that I made. I was in high school, and in our drama class, we were supposed to write a play or a sketch for. It was supposed to be a Halloween theme, and the sketch that we wrote, I played a. I was impersonating Robert Stack from Unsolved Mysteries, and we were doing a report about a haunted house in the region and how the lady who was living in the haunted house had nowhere else to turn to. And so I made Ghostbusters appear, and I was in charge of getting all the costumes and stuff together. So I spent the night making these logos, and then I scotch taped them to garbage bags, and then we played out this skit in front of the in front of the entire school, and it got a huge barrel of laughs. I don't know if I could necessarily do it today, but yeah. The reason why this one comes onto this list and why it's so important is because that sketch really made me decide to start pursuing comedy and acting and entertaining. Making people laugh is my life, and this is just a nice symbol of that, and I get really nostalgic for it, and that's why I keep it in my memories box. So if anybody digs around in my memories box, this is just from a high school sketch that I did way back in the day, and it made me continue to pursue my dreams of being on stage. Number 9 is going to be my real Ghostbusters Ghost Zapper. As you can see, I was huge into real Ghostbusters, and I remember getting this when I was about 5 years old, and I tore through it at Christmas, and I played with it the whole day, probably the whole week after that, and this exact one was the one that I had when I was 5 years old, and my parents got so tired of it that they took out it used to make sounds, and you can project an image on the wall with it. The light still works on it, but the sound does not. And the reason why the sound does not work is because my parents got so annoyed with it, they tore it apart, they took a piece out, and now the sound doesn't work, and I can't find the piece. I have torn this thing apart trying to get the sound to work again, but it does not. And I brought this up with somebody in my fellow Ghostbusters cosplay group, Alberta Ghostbusters, shout out. And he's going to see if he can get something together to get this baby sounding again so that I can annoy my parents, so I could FaceTime them and beam it in their friggin' faces and be like, yeah, you can't take us now. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, yeah. This is number 9. Ghost Zapper. Number 8. This is going to be a bit of a weird one, but it's something that's in my collection that I don't think anybody else has or might even consider part of their Ghostbusters collection. A good friend of mine, he got me. It's a porno from the 1980s, and it's called Cherry Busters, and it's on what is this on? What is this? 8-track? Oh, it's on Betamax, and I don't have a beta player, so I've never watched it before. From what I understand, there's not a lot that's very Ghostbusters about it, but they do a parody of Ray Parker Jr.'s Ghostbusters song in it. It sounds very eerily similar. I listened to a recording of it over the phone, but I have not watched it, and I don't know if I will, to be honest. But I don't know. We'll see where this road of life takes me. Maybe I'll get a Betamax player eventually, and I don't know. I don't think that you can do like a watch party with this. I don't think that's very appropriate. But yeah, Cherry Busters. It's interesting. It's fascinating. And it's always really funny to bring up whenever I'm showing people my collection. So, thanks, Maddie. So for number 7, this one means a lot to me. It was gifted to me by my parents, and it came to me into my possession at a time where I think I mentioned before, it was between 1997 and 2009. There wasn't a lot of Ghostbuster stuff available. You couldn't pick up any collectibles or merchandise or anything like that. However, there was model stores that would sell replicas of the Ecto-1. And it's by a company called Joyride. It's the Ghostbusters Ecto-1. I've never taken it out of the box. I'm a box boy. I like to keep things in the package. Recently, I've started taking things out of the package, and I mean, it's not sealed. You can just undo it, but it means a lot to me. And I remember seeing this. I had no idea that this has existed, and at the time, it was about worth $70. But if you go onto eBay now, it's probably about $200. So it has gone up in value a little bit, but it just blew my friggin' mind when I first got this. I love this Ecto-1. It's my favorite Ecto-1 that I have in my collection. Maybe there'll be another one on the list eventually, but this is my number 1 favorite Ecto-1. I love it. It displays well in the box. It's amazing. It's beautiful artwork. Very almost vintagey Ghostbusters artwork. I don't know. I love it. For number 6, this is something that you've probably seen if you follow my collections page on Instagram. I've really gotten into making up, not making up, but repainting action figures that I can't afford. For instance, like this Ecto Glow one right behind me here. I repainted that recently. You can check that out. But I had a spare Kenner Ecto-1 that was hanging around in my crawl space, and it was all, the stickers were all rotting off. The paint was ruined by the sun. I forget what that term is, when paint runs out on the sun. But and it, I was looking at it, and it really broke my heart that it was just kind of sitting around there, not getting displayed very well. So I took it apart, I washed it, and I repainted it, and I turned it into an Ecto 1A refurbish. And well, it's called a refurbish. You can call it that, but I think it looks a lot better than it did. I love that. I ordered all these new stickers from eBay that came in. I put lights in, which is really cool. It really ties everything together pretty well. And it really stands out in my collection here when you have the lights on. It's an instant eye turner. I got a lot of things that don't make sense, but the Ecto one that I showed you just before this, I used that one to do all the detailing on it. So like the frames are all silverized, the fins are colored according to what it shows on that other Ecto one. When I am with the Alberta Ghostbusters, I try and bring this and have it come to our booth, and I love that it's actually something that people like to take pictures of. You know, it's really cool. It's really cool to like have something in your collection that you worked on, and you can look at it and say, "Look, this is the work that I did," and I'm very very happy with this Ecto 1A. All right, so for number 5, I'm going to go with one that a lot of my fellow Alberta Ghostbusters would be familiar with. And of course, I have to have this in my list. It is my Real Ghostbusters gut-busting joke book. Um, you know, it's just like a cheap little joke book. But some of my favorite moments have come when we're in a meeting with Alberta Ghostbusters, or we're doing one of our Saturday morning cartoon hangouts. I'll read a few of these books. Nobody likes them. That's what I love about it so much, is that everybody rolls their eyes and sighs whenever I tell a joke, or even just showing this book, they always roll their eyes. I love it. I love your pain. I love it. Here's a good one here for you. Let's see if we could find one to tell you that maybe here you go. Where do geologists go for relaxation? To rock concerts. You're suffering right now, and I love it. So number 4, it's an item that has been in my collection for a very, very long time. I would say that when I officially started collecting, this is one of the items that I took in. A friend of mine, she gave me this canned ghost that it's just like there's no ghost in it at all, but it says that it contains one ghost. You shake it, there's nothing in the can, but you know, at the time when you looked on eBay for these, they were worth quite a bit of money, right? And I was probably about 14, maybe 15 when I got this, and I remember hanging out with one of my friends, who was a bit of a stoner at the time, and we were up to some shenanigans, and I went to go grab us some sodas, and I went upstairs and I grabbed these sodas, and as I was grabbing the soda, I heard this tapping, and I'm going, oh, I don't know what that is, but whatever. So I brought the soda back into the room, and when I entered the room, my friend had a screwdriver, and he had a hammer, and he was chiseling a hole into the top of the can. And the reason that he did that was to prove to me that there was no ghost inside the can. Legit. I think the words were, dude, I was just trying to prove to you that there was no ghost in this can. I was like, of course there's no ghost in the can. That's the point. That's the joke. Like, I imagine a ghost would weigh nothing if there was a ghost in here. So now it is worthless, but I love this because it comes with a great story to tell. So I love this canned ghost. It is number 4 on my list. Number 3. This is one that has recently come into my collection. Is about maybe a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years. 2 years, that went by fast. But it's my mother-in-law. She entered a raffle, and the prize for that raffle was a replica Aztec death whistle from Ghostbusters Afterlife that was actually made by the Ghostbusters Afterlife props department, made by none other than Ben Eady of the Ghostbusters Afterlife props department. It's just really, really cool to have a piece of Ghostbusters history in your collection. It's not an on-screen used one, but it is one that was made by the person who designed the one that's in the movie. And he's a great guy. I'm very shy when I talk to him because he has a great YouTube channel about prop making. I encourage you to go check it out. Maybe I'll drop a link in the description after this is all done or whatever. But I love this. This is such a great piece. My mother-in-law has never actually held it. She wants to wear it, so I'll bring it up to the next barbecue. But Aztec Death Whistle, made by the Ghostbusters Afterlife Props Department. Love it. So for number 2, I'm just gonna bring you guys over to something that means a lot to me in my collection. We'll turn it over here. This framed picture here, this is a huge commitment that my mother made for me. It's a diamond painting. This is the artwork from the Ghostbusters video game. But she does this thing called diamond painting where she sends in a photo and gives them a size of, or she gives them like a size of what she wants, and they ship her the pattern for it. And the reason why it's amazing is it's all made of these little tiny beads. Like each little cell that's in here is just a bead that she had to stick onto this board to make the full out the full out team, the logo, the ghosts in the background. I love it. And it's so great to have something like this because, you know, yeah, it's just a photo of the video game, but each bead represents like a minute of her time that she spent making this. And I am so grateful to have it. It's very unique in this collection. It's so big, and it's automatically something that catches somebody's eye when they come down here. It's also really cool to tell people who've never heard of diamond painting before, but love this. Thank you so much, Mom. I love you. And my number 1 favorite item in my Ghostbusters collection. It's one of a kind. It's something that I bring with me to most parties that I would go to. It is my Ghostbusters beer caddy. There's Polly for a photo bomb, but this thing is one of a kind. My uncle handmade this. Nobody else has this thing. I bring it with me to parties and get-togethers. For somebody who doesn't know me, this is a great conversation starter. Gets me into talking about Ghostbusters, which is pretty much my whole life. And I mean, like, look at all the, you know, he hand carved or burned the names into the sides. You know, Sean, it's meant specifically for me. So this couldn't go to anybody else except for somebody named Sean. But who are you going to call? Ghostbusters. You know, it comes with a bottle opener. It's lovely. It's so beautiful. It's so nice and colorful. The paint job is really good. Holds 6 beers. I love this thing. It's my all-time favorite item in my Ghostbusters collection. So thank you to my Uncle Wayne for making this for me. Again, I love it. I try and bring it with me to as many places as possible. Love it. So beautiful. Alright, and that's all I got to show off here today. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw here today, you'd like to see me make more videos, please give me a like. If you want to share what are your favorite Ghostbuster items that you might have in your collection, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. And yeah, I love collecting Ghostbuster stuff. I love collecting in general. I love that the items that you collect all have a story attached to them. And I hope that you liked mine. So, without further ado, as Peter Venkman once said, it's Miller time. Oh. Oh shit, oh shit. Fuck. One take.